Welcome to your magic moon message, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Peace Dealer. The moon is in Aries, the sun is in Taurus. As Mercury is direct, Venus is on Saturn going direct in Aries. You are transcending doubts around who you feel you are, and as you are aligning more that understanding, that raw and original understanding towards what your value and worth is, it's going to prepare in releasing old ego identification for the new moon in Taurus that's going to activate this new grounded cycle. Okay. And relative to said cycle, this now we can akin it to something like manifesting your ego death. Now that Neptune is reimagining your character in Aries, and Mercury has gone through this, and the moon has gone through this, which is significant because this is one of the first moon Neptune Aries cycles we're gonna have for like nearly a decade and change, like 14 years. This is definitely going to now, begin to break you into the themes of said transit and what to expect through such. Another thing to keep in mind concerning that is this quality of course, how such revelation impacts this nature and quality of course, how you will be unveiling who you really feel you are. Okay. As you can see, I'm just naturally irresistible and sexy here. I had to put some coconut lotion on my sexy face. That's because there was some dry patch somewhere. But it's cool. Just hopped out to share. And, now we get to apply more of this silent force, all right, in standing in your value. Value doesn't chase, value attracts because it speaks for itself, all right? And those who are able to recognize actual value definitely know what to invest and know what approach to take towards this. And the moon in Aries is going to remind you where you might still instinctually feel you need to do in order to have, when you're supposed to be and then do and then have. A beautiful thing about this transit is that everything that society or the world outside of you pressures, influences, and gaslights you into feeling you're not good enough, you're not worth it enough. Certain things you may perhaps have to be ashamed of. A transit like this is going to redefine that and reveal everything about that you have to be excited about, proud of. And I don't want to use the word pride, but willing to actually defend, especially with the Mars in Leo. And this unique original understanding thus transcends the lessons of the previous month, where we took an initial authentic step towards what we want to initialize and define as far as this next direction in our character. So that's a really major theme here. By next week, Venus will be on Neptune when the moon is in Cancer. So as it's coming out of Pisces, this in its exaltation is exalting the maximum and final perspective with Saturn of everything you believe you deserve in love, of everything you believe you're receiving relative to the value that's being instilled, of everything that you believe you're meant to achieve in some senses in its connection with the North Node. And the moon in Aries going through Chiron is going to revisit where you allow your ego to get triggered, where you allow yourself to feel the need to prove yourself and to do things in order to come into value, where once again, value stands on its own too, on its own values. You may deal with manipulative, psychologically manipulative beings who try to take advantage of that so that you give your power away. And this will be you taking the power back. It will be releasing everything that maybe you were conditioned to feel you have to do in order to gain some transactional, conditional, useless, worthless love or whatever effect. Okay. Turns out a lot of how things seem in the surface may be betraying what your intuition, what you're feeling within. And that's not for you to lean irrationally towards, faith in what you can't see. It's to reinforce what this inner rhythm is consistently, periodically revealing to you, knowing that this will match in timing with what you experience externally, as chances are you may be feeling things years, weeks, moments before they develop. And it's not for you to get too hung up on trying to force your external reality to match your inner feeling. It's leading with that inner knowing. And that's where this gaslighting campaign, that's where this shame and guilt to attack your stance comes from, because nobody can force you to feel what you feel, but they can now influence the perspective around how you'll listen to weak, stupid ass bitches who think they know anything about you. So you feel bad about yourself and you change what you've already pioneered. The fact that they are threatened enough to try and influence what you've already decided is proof you're a threat to them. As much as people may try and act like, oh, I'm unbothered and nonchalant, let the moon in Aries show you the nature of their actions and who that makes them. And be prepared to stand up for the good, the bad, and the ugly of what you do. Don't necessarily compromise and now fold because of some sense of public pressure that is not really as intense as it may be appearing to be. Don't fold due to vague threats of beings who may even be serious about those threats. Rest in and remember the power within you. Okay, the moon going in Mercury is going to align this subconscious receptivity of who you feel you are with Mercury. That will enable you to communicate this in an unconscious sense, aligning more of this instinct directly towards the development of your character. As not only do we transcend this, but we're going to make obsolete a certain way with which you unconsciously take action because you are releasing what no longer reflects this evolution of you, especially with the moon that will be trining Mars in Leo, enabling you to now really take this transcendent original understanding and direct it in Leo, where you'll be taking that directive passion and charging it through Mars so that you can sustain said fire and in its square to Taurus still align with the inherent value that you don't necessarily have to give up for anybody. Okay, so let people front, let people act uninterested while denying what it is that's pulling them within. None of that should concern you because you're focused on what you've already decided and what you're doing continuing. We don't wait. We don't necessarily, tie our hopes towards external tangible things that are here today and gone tomorrow. This is going to really realign you with these invisible principles, literally Saturn and Pisces, that with Taurus become more tangible and are not just conceptual beliefs that you really just float around. The shift into Aries and Taurus directs activity and grounds it through manifestation so that you're more in a position to take advantage of everything that's available through you. Okay. Once again, with the Chiron and Aries, people who can't leverage their lack of self-esteem over you because they need to feel better than you, people who can't manipulate, influence you, steer you to their philosophy, these are going to be the people who really kind of blow their cover, because a lot of them hitting their limit will share what they've been holding back within, that they were a coward and could never say to your face, because as much as they try to act like they're whatever, they're actually, reeling inside. All right. As their world crumbles, as a lot of the false beliefs they kind of set apart, hoping others would conform to were never really true. And now they have to face the music, watching you, ascend. And when I say ascend, like develop more in alignment with who you are. All right. A lot of this stuff sounds like woo-woo spirituality BS until it doesn't. And now people are wondering how or why did you do whatever when you made it clear the whole time. They just didn't want to listen. So just keep that in mind. The moon was also sextiling Pluto. There's so many false narratives. There's so many, beliefs rested on theoretical models that are still inconclusive, that as your own actions really debunk a lot of this thinking without the need for peer-reviewed research, it's going to shatter the framework of everything they believed. And it's easy for those people to project that that's your fault, even though they were the ones who carefully built this foundation on shifting sand. So remember, the point of Taurus is for you to build a foundation that's not on shifting sand, that's actually going to hold. And the new moon in Taurus is where you're going to start planting those seeds and stacking those bricks. Anyone who is attempting to reinforce rhetoric that you're less than you are really doesn't like themselves. And so they're projecting it on you through those actions and behavior. Whatever reasoning or rhetoric they put behind it is hogwash. You'll know it when you feel and see it. And you don't want to lower yourself trying to go back and forth with an idiot. You know what I'm saying? With someone who can't even really accept themselves, and now they're projecting on you. This understanding of yourself in Aries is also going to connect you with those who align with you, with those who actually recognize you. And said alignment is going to draw out more latent potential and prepare for this new moon, where once again, with this balsamic phase, there is a hidden understanding of yourself that acts like a final piece of the puzzle board that you're going to connect and finally now shift the way you may not have to do certain things because your value speaks for you. And with that 12th house aspect, this is unconscious. It's not something that you could just be aware of. It's going to be brought to your awareness. What has to be released? For some of you, this may be very difficult because you've held on to this belief about yourself that you need to do this in order to get something. But the whole purpose of the 12th is you need to surrender. And I'm not talking about meditational or energy exercises where you play with the idea of something. If you're obsessed with the idea of something and you're interested, like, it's okay to have imaginary, interests, right? That you obsessively delve into, as long as you're aware of the difference between what is the idea and not trying to attach to it physically. Certain people who want to control how you do what you do will try and say one is the other, and it's not. As long as you're willing to really let go of this sense of yourself that feels like you need that versus knowing that you already have it regardless of how it looks like, you really can do whatever you want. So just be very mindful of this external influence that will act like it's trying to help you, but it's really just patronizing you and trying to fit you into its narrative and limited understanding. You with which are limitless and cannot be fit in a box. So let them call you names. Let them express their white flag and frustration while trying to act like they're cool, because they're not. All right. And all you have to do is just keep being you, which is the source of whatever irritation, but also support from those who, frequency aligns with your frequency and you push forward. A lot of people will say stuff behind your back and say stuff, but they won't say anything, if that makes sense. They're not going to speak to the issue. They're going to kind of bounce around this fallacious, like, souffle of bullshit. So I hope you're ready for this new moon. This is going to be a very strong and grounded one. And the moon in Aries is going to reveal very uncanny and explosive secrets that were hidden from you for your protection, but now you can begin to upload and start to activate the grounded quality of this with the new moon in Taurus. That's going to be a cycle of greater innovation of wealth and how much more valuable you stand on your own worth. Okay. Other than that, you guys stay blessed as always. I'll see you when I see you. And until next time, peace.